Emblem. Engage!
Hello everyone, we're Access and Cap. Welcome to Chapter 17 of this Fire Emblem Engage Anything Goes Maddening LTC.
As I'm sure everyone expected, this will be one of, if not the most epic clear of the entire run. Our squad has rushed back to Finalizing to prevent a total crisis. Illusia is invading, and they've already burned Floorport to the ground.
It's not just Illusia's army either. To save Finalizing, we have to defeat a grand total of 6 bosses. All 4 hounds are present, along with Veil and corrupted Hyacinths. Oh yeah, and they all have 2 lives each as well as emblems.
To make the ridiculous win condition even more difficult, this gigantic map is covered with fire tiles that will impede movement for non-flyers. The bosses are also extremely spread out, with Gris in the top right, Marni and Mauvier in the bottom left, and Veil, Zephyr, and Hyacinth in the top left.
Finally, unlike in their previous appearances, these bosses are really no joke this time around. Marni now has Holdout, which prevents her from being defeated by normal attacks when above a certain HP threshold. Zephyr and Hyacinth are both super tanky, whereas Veil has very high Void thanks to Marth. To top it all off, all of them except for Mauvier have uncounterable engage attacks.
So yeah, it's looking pretty dire. But as we know from Chapter 11, when things are out of control, count on the watering hole.
That's right, but along with the watering hole, we'll also be calling in some unexpected help. Zokov and Tamara will be returning for the first time in this chapter. Seeing his nation in ruins has motivated Prince Alfred to get off the bench as well.
As motivated as Alfred may be, it's truly nothing compared to Chloe's uncontrollable rage. The hounds thought they were just burning down some random Viennese town, but little do they know that Floorport was home to Chloe's favorite folk food stall, selling eel eyeballs pickled in bird blood. And after seeing that stall knocked over, Chloe will not be holding back anymore. We made sure to give her one standard arena to hit level 8 before reclassing her into a Lance Griffin, since 1-2 range access is essential to this clear. She then took the remaining 2 arenas as well after reclassing.
Chloe grabs a newly minted Lucina Spear +4, a rewarp staff, and some other goodies, before furiously ingesting a whole bunch of performance-enhancing drugs. It's clear that there's no talking Chloe out of this rage, and that she will be on a warpath until everyone responsible is beaten up twice.
All in all, Chloe uses 2 robes, 2 drops, 2 books, 2 wings, 2 shields, and 3 talismans, for a grand total of 13 boosters during this battle prep, as well as every relevant tonic. She has consumed all 7 red candies that we have available at this point, 6 of which were bestowed by the Ancient Well. For skills, Chloe inherited Gentility from Erica, and uses it alongside Lance Power 3, a skill that she inherited from Sigurd way back in Chapter 10 just for this clear.
Equally as angry as Princess Ivy, who is incensed about her father being revived as a corrupted. She follows Chloe by taking 4 dusts and 1 book, bringing our total booster consumption to 18. She has also grabbed an Erica engraved Alfire, Thoron, and a Silent Staff. For this fight, Ivy will join with Thoron to battle the cruel fate of losing her father.
Onigiri has also been training very hard for this clear. While Kagetsu won't play as crucial a role as Chloe and Ivy, his stat-sticking abilities will not go unnoticed, especially when he's wielding a couple of forged axes, with Erica bond level 3 for gentility access.
As usual, Hortensia's staffing prowess helps tremendously with the clear. She grabs a recover as well as our last somewhat healthy warp staff. We will also be asking a lot out of Citrinne, so he puts on Merrick Ring, equips the shielding art, and takes a defense tonic in preparation.
Panette will be tasked with putting on another great Ether performance, with Tamara and Marin as backup singers. Marin has been reclassed into Berserker, marking her 3rd unique class in as many appearances. While she has yet to level up during this run due to all the reclassing, her amazing bases make her the best filler unit that anyone could ever ask for. I'm sure that Marin will continue to surprise us in different roles later.
Panette and Marin have both taken lollichops, since it's clear that Gris is into that kind of stuff. To complete the trio, Tamara has been promoted and reclassed into Swordmaster. That's right, we're using this garbage class in a Chapter 17 turn floor clear. Finally, Alfred prepares himself by inheriting Reposition, equipping Anna Ring, and grabbing a Killer Lance. He will do some very impactful things with it.
As we round off the battle preps, I'll mention that Chloe has cooked us yet another +4 speed meal. She really does it all.
Of course, it was the eel dish from the food stall, making everyone run faster for their lives.
Let's also speed up and finally get into this clear. Marin starts off by proccing the only required crit of the clear, as she needs to land 1 out of 2 58% crits to one-round this halberdier blocking the way to Gris. Tamara follows up by tickling the remaining halberdier with 11 sword. Honestly, better than I expected from Miss Sandstorm. Annette then takes her position and sets up for a very nice Great Ether.
Kagetsu gets out of the way, making room for Citrinne to rain arrows down on Marni for the second chapter in a row. Marni has returned stronger than before, so we forged Citrinne's Radiant Bow to +4 and placed her adjacent to Alear and spur attack from Hortensia. This gives Citrinne enough attack to still kill Marni with Astra Storm, which pierces through Marni's holdout because it's an engage attack. Roy is a strong emblem, but he's no match for his Elder Ling.
Alear moves forward and obstructs to impede the movement of the nearby wyrm before countering 2 down. Chloe then uses her own obstruct to protect her friend Citrinne, which also provides some cover to the pitiful princess in an even more pitiful class.
Ivy moves to the front of the pack and one-rounds a berserker, who she barely doubles thanks to Chloe's meal and the speed level up last chapter. Citrinne dances Alear to complete a goddess dance formation. After a reposition from the Flower Prince, Zolkov refreshes the actions of Ivy, Chloe, Kagetsu, and Citrinne while giving them all a +5 boost to speed.
Zelkov sort of got the short end of the stick by being stuck as a thief for 4 levels while having extremely slow XP gain. But his base stats are frankly amazing, which we'll appreciate soon in this clear.
Ivy moves forward again to silence the High Priest near Marni, who has a nasty tendency to heal Marni back to holdout range.
Citrinne bravely charges into the fray to dance Ivy, who does massive chip damage to Marni with Thoron. The Grasping Void proc here isn't necessary. In theory, Ivy could do more damage by attacking Marni at 2 range, but we put her here to stay out of range of the left wyrm. This way, the wyrm always moves 2 down in enemy phase, which will be favorable for us.
Ivy's chip also freezes Marni in place, disabling her annoying Blazing Lion attack. Alear then trade equips Ivy's Erika Elfire before setting up a Bounded Shield. Kagetsu engages and finishes off another nearby Berserker with Tomahawk.
With our other units in position, it's time for Chloe to avenge her food stall. She is warped 6 tiles up by Hortensia, before engaging and one-shotting a sniper with Raging Storm. With her action refreshed, Chloe full moves up again, equips her spear, and rewarps within reach of the top left bosses, who aren't looking so confident anymore.
Vale moves first and immediately loses her first life after getting one-rounded by Chloe, who clearly doesn't care about our old friend Mars. I think a certain Pegasus Knight of Talis will be relieved to see that. Notice that the thicket tile left of Chloe prevents Vale from using Lodestar Rush, forcing her to suicide at true range. Certainly not a bad start to this enemy phase.
Impressed by Father's power? Fell dragons are far beyond divine dragons.
The emblem is going
Fell dragons may be beyond divine dragons, but neither can really compare to an enraged chicken. Vale and the like pose no real challenge for our Chloe. Just as we speak, Hyacinth also attacked Chloe at 2 range with the Master Stick, losing his first life as well. Hyacinth has incredible bulk that requires 60 attack to cleanly kill with a double. Even after taking 7 energy drops, Chloe still needs additional damage via her skills and a forged weapon. This is why she gives up counter in this clear, and why she requested 16 silver ingots to make a spear +4.
Back near the starting positions, Gris starts a ping party by warping onto Panette. Unfortunately for him, Ike does not really feel any pain at all. But he's right that after he hits Panette, Panette will also hit him back in no time.
Zephyia is up next on the chopping block as she suicides to Chloe with her 11 sword. Chloe needs to hit 31 speed to double while being weighed down by the spear, but this is well within reach thanks to 5 speed wings from the watering hole.
There's no real way to deny Zephyia the option of using Override, but she's greedy and will only do so if it hits at least 2 units. Chloe is a one-woman army, and we wish that some way, somehow, that Chloe will save every one of us, but the truth is that she's only one girl.
Wow, it seems like 9S has evolved into Excess and learned Sing. Down below, a general brings Tamara down to just 1 HP before taking significant counter damage from the Levin sword. The remaining Halberdier cannot reach Tamara thanks to Chloe's Obstruct, so he has no choice but to break his lance into Panette's armor later in the enemy phase. Then, in the bottom left corner, Ivy is about to wipe all of the nearby enemies.
Ivy is pretty tanky, which normally makes her an unappealing target for most enemies, especially compared to weaklings like Alear and Citrinne. However, with Erika engraving dropping her avoid and dodge by 20, these fools all see high hit and crit rates on her.
On the other hand, Alear is holding the Micaiah Folkvanger to boost her avoid, and Citrinne is holding the Shielding Art and Merrick Ring to boost his defenses. In the end, all of these enemies will prefer Ivy.
As we just saw, the silenced High Priest has no choice but to pick a fist fight with Ivy, only to get roasted on the counter. The remaining Berserker can also attack Zolkov, but Zolkov's base stats are more than enough to dissuade him even without any boosts from tonics or engraves.
Back to the top of the map, Chloe finishes off a couple of calves before getting an absolutely amazing level up, which will come in clutch in the near future. Chloe is definitely in the middle of a fairy tale right now, one where she is the main hero.
To finish off the first enemy phase, the right wyrm gets distracted by the Obstruct, while Mauvier and his Light Brigade charge towards Ivy. While this large group of calves may look threatening at first glance, Ivy will soon make short work of them all.
Turn 2 starts with Panette demolishing a whole bunch of enemies with Great Ether, including Griss's first life. Thanks to backup singer Tamara's Levin sword counter, Panette even kills one of the generals. She gets a full level's worth of XP for her efforts and grows ever so slightly stronger.
Hortensia heads back to recover Tamara to full HP and gains a decent amount of experience in doing so. Using recover at 2 range like this is a legit application of Hortensia's personal skill. I don't know why warp and rewarp are also considered healing staves, but we'll take that.
Next, Marin and Panette both pull out their hand axes to clap for the other singers on stage. Tamara shows her consideration for Griss by returning to 1 HP in exchange for a chain attack from Panette. Then, the Star of Brodia takes to the stage and kills the remaining general with help from 3 backup singers. One little known mechanic about chain attacks is that if the internal level of the enemy is 6 or higher than the attacker, each chain attack will grant 1 additional point of XP. The extra XP from this triple chain attack will be needed for Citrinne in the upcoming chapters.
It's time to end this ping party and send Griss home. First up is Marin, who has perfect hit with the Lollipop thanks to Edelgard engraving, her personal skill, as well as support from Tamara and Panette. Panette finishes Griss off on behalf of the Sohm Singers with yet another perfectly accurate Lollipop hit, this time thanks to Byla's engraving.
Let's have some fun.
Exquisite.
This exquisite Griss kill only requires the Sohm Singers to land 1 chain attack out of 5. Of course it could be even more reliable if we use real weapons, but eating this delicious pain is how Griss would have wanted to go.
Back to the punk corner, Zolkov instructs everyone to give another boost to speed. This position would have put him in range of the right wyrm if it weren't for Alear's Obstruct last turn.
Onigiri finishes off Marni with Twin Strike to break through holdout. This would have been an exact kill if Ivy didn't proc Grasping Void earlier. Sorry Marni, I know it's not fair. Not everyone always gets treated to a joke weapon, but you'll get your share of the fun next time for sure.
With Marni gone, now we just need to deal with Mauvier in this corner. Ivy chips him with an inaccurate Thoron from 3 range, but it's fine if she misses here because we just want to apply Draconic Hex and Dreadful Aura. Aside from dropping Mauvier's stats, we need to freeze him and the adjacent wyrm.
Alear once again trade equips Ivy's Erika engraved Elfire before setting up another bonded shield. Citrinne refreshes Kagetsu and enables him to kill Mauvier's first life with a Silver Axe +1.
Kagetsu levels up from taking Mauvier's first life, in particular gaining strength, which will be clutch in a second. Empathizing with his citizens, Alfred puts himself in fire and drops the best weapon in the game to pray for peace.
To finish off the second turn, Chloe moves into another advantageous position and heals to full HP with an elixir brought by the versatile Marin. The time for Chloe's food stall vengeance is nigh.
As we enter enemy phase, the frozen Mauvier immediately suicides to Kagetsu at 1 range. Onigiri was overkilling Mauvier before thanks to Lunar Brace adding 4 damage, but that's only active on player phase. Proccing stress during his last second level up gives Kagetsu just enough damage to still kill Mauvier on enemy phase as Contemplative wears off.
Thinking her previous defeat was unlucky, Vale goes in for round 2 against Chloe, again from forced 2 range. At least Vale landed a hit this time, but the result is the same. Before running away, Vale drops a crucial Master Seal, which we will use in the near future.
Hyacinth suicides to Chloe as well, and his defeat quotes here are pretty moving. It's a shame we're unable to show off his talk with Ivy, who is too busy farming XP for rebuilding Illusia. The remainder of this enemy phase is optimized to feed Ivy and Chloe as much as possible. While their heroics in this clear will not be forgotten, there are even more challenging maps to come down the line.
Ivy was placed on a tile that is in range of all 3 bottom left halberdiers, as well as the entirety of Mauvier's Light Brigade. Although these enemies can all attack Seedall, Ivy's lowered avoid and dodge makes her the juicier target in the eyes of the AI. As we will see later in the run, this XP feeding is absolutely crucial.
Chloe was also left in a spot that lets her take out some extra enemies. This does slightly increase her chance of death, but all those boosters, on top of the 30 avoid given by Lucina Engraving, make her nearly invincible. Chloe has over 90% chance to survive and wipe the entire top left corner.
We now see Ivy taking out all of these Cavs in Mauvier's group, except for the one that's frozen. It's important that all of them can reach Ivy, which in our experience is almost always the case when the frozen worm had moved 2 down in the previous enemy phase.
In contrast, if Ivy had attacked Marni at 2 range earlier, then the worm could attack her in the previous enemy phase, and it would have 50% chance to move 1 right and 1 down to attack. If that did happen, then the top right Spear Paladin here would end up 1 tile higher and thus not be able to reach Ivy in this enemy phase. In that case, it would attack Alear instead, which is disastrous for our strategy because Bounded Shield can be broken. Even though we could use Time Crystal to manipulate the worm's movement, we prefer to remove their RNG completely.
After all those calves have been eaten by Ivy, Zephyia finally decides to put the remnants of the Illusian army out of their misery by dying to Chloe. She gained access to turfing after losing her first life, which increases her speed by 2 relative to the Levin sword. Luckily, Chloe gained 3 effective speed during the last 2 level ups, including a rare increase to build. That enables her to still double Zephyia and complete her vengeance.
With the hounds running away with their tails between their legs, that's chapter 17 cleared in 2 turns. Cab will see you next time for a nice breather chapter.
See ya!